guys, and welcome to today's video, where today I'll be doing a supplies haul for my Leopard Gecko's Bioactive tank. So I believe it's probably the previous video I spoke about upgrading Diego's tank. It's going to be a lot bigger and making it a bioactive tank, which I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit overwhelmed about. There's a lot that goes into it and I want to make it right. But I did say I had some supplies on the way and they actually arrived a lot quicker than I expected. So today I'm going to go through everything and show you what I've got, and maybe it'll give you an idea of stuff you might need if you're going to do a similar thing. So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. So of course, first we need a drainage layer. So this is really heavy. I got 10 kilograms of the Habitat ones. I usually use the Zoomed ones. I'm pretty sure they're all the same, just with probably different brand names, but I got 2 bags of this. Now when I previously did attempt at a bioactive tank, I didn't put in a drainage layer, and succulents don't do well in soggy conditions. Their roots will rot, so a drainage layer is definitely needed. I don't know how many I'm gonna need, that's why I got the 2 bags, but this is the one I went for this time round, and we'll see how it goes. Now of course, with a drainage layer you also need some kind of fabric to separate the drainage layer from the soil. Now I did do a video on like a step-by-step how to build a bioactive tank, so if you want more information on that, whether you're building a leopard gecko one or a crested gecko one, whatever it is, there's a step-by-step guide. Hopefully that'll help you. But yes, you need something between the drainage layer and the soil, and I don't have it with me, but I'll probably go with the Lucky Reptile Hydro Fleece. I've used it in both my Chihuahua tank and my crested gecko tank. I have found though that if it gets particularly wet it can collapse, so I probably wouldn't suggest it for say like a dart frog tank, something like that. Like even my crested gecko tanks, there's an area where it's sort of gone in and crushed. However, since this is more of an arid tank, I think it will hold up a lot better, so that's probably what I'm going to go for. Also, it's super cheap for just the sheer amount of fabric you get. Next we have SUBSTRATE. I feel like I'm doing weights today because this time around not as heavy, but we have Earth Mix Arid. So this is what I use in my Leopard Gecko tanks already, but this is particularly good for bioactive tanks that are arid. So this is what I'm going to be using. As I've said in the past, I have found out you can't really get this in America, so there are other options. I know Josh's Frogs and the Bio Dude may have similar kinds of substrates that can be used in bioactive tanks, so maybe look into that. Now, I don't yet have any plants for this tank. I'm thinking maybe succulents and types of arid grasses could work, but of course if you already have a Leopard Gecko bioactive tank set up and you found certain plants work really well, let me know. One thing I'm worried about is them like pooping on the plants. Gizmo actually has a fake succulent in her tank, you might be able to see it in the corner here, and she poops on every single leaf. She'll find a leaf she hasn't pooped on yet and poop on it, and someone on Instagram actually told me their gecko does that on a real succulent, which means the plant doesn't really live very long. So if you do have any recommendations for plants, I'm all ears, so let me know below. In terms of landscaping though, I do have this. So this I believe is called a coconut flower. It won't have the, what is this, like string on when I actually use it. I believe I got it a while ago from Internet Reptile. They had like a weird sale on where it was like randomly £2, and I'm like, okay, sure, this can come in handy. I don't really know what they do with it other than like climb on it and stuff. It's kind of, it's not too rough, but it could work. I've heard these can go in both humid and arid tanks, so there's potential that if you want something for your humid tank you can also use that. As I said, don't really know what it's for, but I might use it. The other thing is, obviously I'm going to get more slate and rock. This is just an example. It's got a bit of sealant on because it used to be in one of the other Gecko's tanks, but lots of slate will be needed, lots of rock, also potentially cork. If you've seen my video on unclogging femoral pores, and if you have a male gecko you want to know about those, it's important to have some rough textures that they can rub against to get those out. So this could work, this might work, but also cork. So those are kind of things I'm going to incorporate in the setup. Now on to electricals, and I did just want to say if I sound out of breath when I'm talking, it's because I'm lifting heavy things and I feel like I'm talking really quickly because I don't want this video to be like super long, so I apologise for that. But yes, electricals. Now these things are important in our tank, and the first one I got here is a Pro T5 UV kit. Now Diego already has UV in his tank, but it's in a mini UV kit, and I don't know how well this will do on a screen top. So as you may have seen in a previous video, this new tank I'm getting, it has a screen lid, or partly screen lid, and so I needed something that will hold the UV but, you know, go on top of the screen lid. So this is a Pro T5 unit. Hopefully it stays in focus. It has a reflector. This will sit nicely down on here. The other good thing about this is you can link lots of these up, so in the future, if I have a reptile room and I upgrade all my geckos tanks and they all get these, I can link them all up. I think you can potentially link up to 10 of these and use one plug. So say I link up all my leopard gecko ones, one plug will turn on all their UV. The other thing is you can link this with the LED bar, which I'll get to in a moment. The only thing for me is I like the UV to come on 2 hours in the morning, and with the LED would come on throughout the day, and then the UV comes on 2 hours in the evening, if that makes sense. That's what I do with Drogo and Chihuahua anyway. So I probably won't link them two up together because I don't want them on at the same time, but there is potential for that. So as I mentioned, I have an LED bar. So originally they did have the Jungle Dawn, but they've bought this out, and I do think it's a lot more sleek and robust, and obviously connecting all the LEDs together, or connecting the LED with the UV, is a really cool idea, and it saves a lot of plug sockets for us reptile owners, because it's crazy at the moment in my room. There's just so many. So this is the LED bar. I will pop it out if I can. As you can see, it's a lot bigger than a UV. Nice little thing here, and the bars here. Now this, right, when I started doing a bioactive tank in Ziggy's tank, I thought I could get away with a little bit of UV will help grow the succulents, right? And I could see the succulents. I thought, okay, they haven't died yet, that's good. But it was one of those things where you touch the succulent and it goes mushy, and I don't know if that's due to overwatering or underwatering or lack of light, but what I did really need is a growth light. I should not have tried to just do it without a growth light. If you want the plants to grow successfully, you probably need one. So definitely looking forward to trying this out, and hopefully I won't kill any more succulents. Now the last piece of equipment we need is heating. Now of course you can do a bioactive tank with a heat mat or a ceramic heat emitter, but since I'm mildly obsessed with the deep heat projector and feel like an Avon lady for the deep heat projector, I am of course getting Diego one of these. So one of my biggest thoughts behind this is, if I'm giving him such a big tank, if I give him a little heat mat in that tank, he's mainly going to stay on that heat mat. And so when people say to me they're going to upgrade their gecko's tank, it's going to be really big, in the back of my mind I think, I hope they're using something like this, because this means they don't have to rely on their heat source all the time. They get energized so much quicker and they can use that energy for longer, so they will explore their tank a lot more. If you've seen Minnie, you've seen Ziggy, they use the entirety of their tank. So I obviously want Diego to do that too. I absolutely love this item. I couldn't recommend it enough. So of course I'm going to be upgrading him to this. Along with that though, you do need a dimming stat, and this is probably the most expensive piece of equipment I got. It's from Haberstat. I have used different thermostats, like different brands before, and they've let me down, but I have to say over the years Haberstat have always worked for me, and they work for a long time. So though this is expensive, it is so necessary for using any heating equipment. That deep heat projector can get really hot if you don't use a thermostat, so you really need one. It's really expensive, but it's needed. So I hope this has helped. I feel like this channel, even the comment section, is kind of like a forum in itself. Like, if I need help, you guys help me out. If someone else needs help, I'll help them out. Someone else will help them out. As I said, if anyone has tips for a Leopard Gecko Bioactive tank, if they have done this before and there are plants that work really well and plants that do really bad, let me know. That will be very good to know. In terms of cleanup crew, I'm pretty much only set on using springtails at the moment. I'm going to have to be the biggest custodian and clean out that poop. That isn't really that difficult. But yeah, I hope this video has helped. As I said, I did do a step-by-step guide of how to build a bioactive tank, whether that's a humid one or an arid one, so I will link that below if you want to check it out. Also, if you have noticed, I have new merch, so all of that Teespring link will be below. There's lots of different things you can get with this print and the blue text print on it. So yeah, if you want to support the channel and get something in return, that will help very much. But thank you for watching, guys. I hope this has helped. If you haven't already, please subscribe. But thank you and goodbye.